All right. So why women are a gift to men. Now, this video is not just for men, it's also for women. In the first half, I'm going to talk about men and why women are a gift to them. And then the second half is a message to women and something that they've got to stop doing if they truly want to empower their man. If they know they have a good man and they want to empower them, something that they've got to do, the number one thing. So let's start with men first. So first of all, I'm talking about a good woman, not a woman that these guys complain about all the time on other podcasts. No, we're talking about a good woman that's committed to you, that has shown that she is riding for you and is loyal to you and to the relationship and wants to build. Now, why is that a gift? Of course, a good person, a good woman is definitely a gift in itself. But more than that, a strong, powerful woman who's committed to you is a gift because she actually helps you to bring out your masculinity, your power, your manhood. She actually teaches you how to step into your masculine principle. And you're going to say, well, how, Jonathan? I'm going to get right to it. But first, I want you to think of dancing, because to me, these principles between the masculine and the feminine, they are shown in many ways how they come together, harmonize, and can create magic. It's through simple everyday things. So if we look at dancing, so for example, dancing salsa or something. In dancing salsa, even though men dance and do a lot of moves, the dance is really about the woman. It's the man turning the woman around in many different ways, spinning her here, spinning her there, spinning her around her body, and making her look great, making her shine, making her look beautiful. It's about the woman having complete trust and faith in the man and she gives up that power to him so that she can lose control. Now, this is important for you guys that are listening. A woman's goal is to lose control safely, is to free her mind from the overthinking, the psychological armor, because women have a lot more to think about than men, and women have a hard time turning off. You know, if you just think about your grandmother or think about certain women from back in the days, they were the glue that held the family down. Now the masculine played a huge role, right? We're not discounting that. But right now we're just talking about the aspect of the feminine principle and her power to be the glue so that everything is running perfectly, so that the man doesn't even have to think about certain things. She's already got that covered. Things that we don't think about, that's not on our mind because we're like hunters. That's on their mind. They've already got that covered. They're already taking care of things before we even get a chance to think about it, to make our life easier and to free us up. This is when things are working in optimal fashion. So that takes a toll on women. Dr. Oz, I believe it was Dr. Oz that made a joke on his show and said, you know, a woman's brain is a dangerous place. And he was showing how it's much more activated than the man's brain because she's always thinking. She's always thinking about multiple things. So take that in mind. That takes its toll. And in this reality, in this world, that's a fear-based world and a stress-based world. You can imagine that being amplified, that being amped up, right, for the feminine brain. So when she comes home or when she's interacting with you, you know, all that stuff is still going on. Men have the ability to kind of turn off from that. We have the ability to, you know, a lot of things can be on our mind and we can get definitely stressed out and weighed down by things, but we have, I would say, more of an ability to turn that off. Now, with women, they have pressure release valves that can help them. You know, they're friends, they can talk about stuff, and they they deal with their emotions, and they allow space for that to happen. So that can be a pressure release valve for them, whereas men don't do that. But nonetheless, it takes its toll, and over time women can develop a psychological armor, a locking, a constricting down in their body. I know this because I have a lot of women clients, and I've worked with families, and I've worked with women and for years, and I see this psychological armoring, and it shows up in different ailments in their body or different things that's happening in their life. Now, how does this relate to men, and how does this relate to dancing? A woman's goal is to free herself of that armor unconsciously. This is what that dance mimics. Total freedom, where she can be free without worries, without the stress on her mind, without the psychological armor or holding patterns or constricting patterns, bracing for life, where she is totally open, totally and completely surrendered to a force that she trusts and feels safe with, so that she can flourish, so that she can shine. And when she does, her potential comes out, her power comes out, her creativity comes out. Tapping into that aspect of her is a deep psychological need. It's a deep goal, and it shows itself in many ways. Problem is, a lot of women have a problem articulating that. They're not going to tell you that. In fact, they're going to do the opposite. They're going to test you. They're going to not let you know certain things. They want, at times let you know certain things, but at times they want you to just be able to understand them in that way. Unfortunately, men, we weren't taught how to do that. A lot of us weren't shown ways, and we end up reacting to them and reacting to how they may test us, or their moods, or their armor, the psychological armor they've put up. And that has to do with a huge degree of trust. The woman has to feel that she truly trusts this masculine principle and this power, because she represents chaos. And I don't mean confusion. I mean chaos in the stance of many different things, a lot of energies going on at the same time. That's what I mean by chaos. A lot of potential. So men represent, or the masculine principle represents stability, certainty, a center, a ground that chaos can feel connected to. You see, when these principles are in action and work together, we come back to that dance. It's a beautiful thing. Now, this also takes place in the bedroom. So in the bedroom, all women want to be able to let go and lose control, but they need to feel safe, and they need to feel their partner is competent enough. They need to, because they have their insecurities that they are wrestling with. All that's part of their psychological armor. A man that can break her open, that can break down that armor, where she feels totally safe with, so that she can release her sexual power, her emotional power. She can totally feel seen in a safe way. That man will get huge benefits. That bond will be a sacred bond, a powerful bond. And it's not easy to get there, but as a man, working on that will help build your masculinity, help build your power. Because what the feminine principle is signaling is, I want you to be that center. I want you to be that rock. I want you to have that certainty in everything you do. And I'm going to test you to see. I'm going to see, how you are in situations, how your mind state holds up, how you are you trustworthy? Are you reliable? Under pressure, are you more into your mask than being real with me? So what do I mean by that? Because a lot of men, we will rest on our ego. It's about our performance, our mask, our ego. But women can see through all that. And again, she knows you're not being real. And if you're not being real with her, you're not being real with yourself. And psychologically, she'll see that as weakness. She sees you haven't yet connected to who you are. You haven't yet deeply felt complete confidence in who you are to allow me to relax, give you the power to lead, establish a center for my chaos so that I can go to other levels, right? So I'm talking as if she's talking, because I'm trying to get this mindset to you. So a man's job is to connect with his power, his masculinity, and it's been difficult in a world that's been against that, where you see they continually put out images of men being dumb or stupid, right? I grew up seeing Al Bundy, and it was funny, but Homer Simpson, hilarious, but they continually show you a man beaten up by life who doesn't have power, who is just there, and is a joke, and is not someone to really be respected. And he doesn't wield or command that masculine power. So society doesn't really reward masculinity. In the past, there were movies that did. There were a lot of movies we grew up with that kind of showed you that. But today, it's a lot different. And I think men are suffering from that, and men are confused. And it's hurt both men and women, because women want men to step up and be that masculine power so that they can feel safe. They can feel connected to the man. And within that connection, that relationship, that bond, she can free herself from her armor, her insecurities. She can stop thinking. Because when she is having to solve problems all day, having a break from solving problems, giving up that power, is a huge thing for the feminine principle. Having a force that can hold and contain her chaos, getting her relief from her mind, relief from her overthinking, her insecurities, is something that she longs for and she craves. This is why a lot of women crave that in the bedroom but never express that. A man that can totally dominate her in the bedroom, safely, lovingly, but take her to a place where she can lose control and not feel judged. Lose control and connect with aspects of her that she deeply wants to connect with and express sexually and emotionally. And the man not being scared of it, not running away from it, and the man being steady in his center, in his power, to be able to hold that space for her to experience higher and higher levels of herself. This is the deep stuff that most people don't talk about, but it's behind the scenes. It's what's happening in the dynamics in the relationships. And as I'm talking, I'm sure you can see that play out in your relationship or relationships with women in the past. You could see from your natural instincts that she's saying one thing, but she really means something else. Her body's saying something, but her mind is saying something else. And she's testing you in a certain way, and you're wondering, why is she testing me in this way? Why is she coming at me in this way? And as So you get tested as a man. And this is how you get to grow your masculine power. This is how you get to connect with who you really are, is by finding that calm center within you, is by doing the work to know who you truly are, so you can be the force in her life, that she can strip herself of her armor and be totally seen. She will give you that power. She will give you that leadership. She will give you that ability to take the lead, because she knows that's just going to empower her. So again, think of the dance, right? The dance is about the woman losing control, and the joy and the ecstasy in that she feels when she knows that it's not just in salsa. Just look at any other professional dances where, a man might throw her up in the air, catch her, spin her around, throw her up. They love that. They want to experience the non-thinking, not in control all the time, not having that armor all the time. They want to tap into those aspects of themselves, and yet have a force that's going to catch them so they don't fall. That's going to be a ground for them to stand in, a center. So when you start moving like this with a woman, and you start to not see her testing as just a way to get on your nerves, but she's testing your masculinity to see if you're going to run away, if you're going to fold, if you're going to react, or are you connected to who you are so you're not threatened by it. Right? She's looking for that. So when you start moving in that way, you're going to see that this is really about doing work on yourself. That having a partnership relationship with a woman really is about learning about you and where your insecurities are, where you hold back, where you react, where you feel less than, where you feel like you don't measure up, where you feel like, whatever comes up for you, it's going to be the things that are in the way that she's exposing for you, so that you can see and deal with that, so that you can step up and be that divine masculine power that she needs. And as you do that, her divine feminine power will feel safe to rise up. This concept that I'm explaining is not a new concept. It's old. It's been around for a long time, symbolized in mythologies around the world, where you see the feminine and the masculine together and the interplay. They're trying to teach about these principles being in harmony with each other and what happens when they are. So that's what I'm going to say about that. And now I'm going to talk about the part 2. And this is to women. Now, the other part was to men. But this one is for any woman that wants to help empower her man. You got to do something right now. You got to stop doing something right now. And this is one of the main things that women do that they don't realize is a huge detriment to the relationship and to their man. And that is nagging. Now you might think, this is just something small. All women do that. We just nag because men don't listen. They forget. They don't get things done like the way we want them to get things done. There's a way to get things done. There's a way to work with your man to handle situations. The problem with nagging is that nagging, and I want you to hear me out, just hear me out. Nagging is a way to program your mind, your man in a wrong way, and also program yourself. And so if you have a certain tone with you, a certain way you approach a man, and you continually nag, you are making him into a child in your mind and in his mind. You are not talking to him like a colleague, like a peer. You are talking to him as if you are his parent. The problem is, if you continually nag a man, you're continually programming in his mind, and I want you to hear me with this. You are programming into his mind that he is incompetent. And you might think, no, that's ridiculous. I'm just telling him to pick up his socks or just stop leaving that drink there or whatever. I get it. I get that. I get that's annoying. But you've got to find a way to allow yourself to not take these things personal and to deal with him as a peer. Remind him as a peer and not talk to him like a child. As you do that more and more, you keep nagging more and more, you are telling him that he is a child, that he is incompetent. That's going to show up in other areas of his life. In this world, there is a principle called cause and effect. And it exists in everything. Everything has a cause and everything has an effect. So you can't keep nagging and not realize that there will be an effect for that, a negative effect. So if you're seeing your man as incompetent, you have brought him down to a child. What do you think is going to happen in the bedroom? At an unconscious level. So you're building an image of him in his mind and your mind by continually focusing on these things. I know what women are going to say, we're here to help a man get better. We're here to help a man improve. I get all that. I totally understand that. You've got to find the way to do it. Because his subconscious doesn't know the difference between a nag and reality. So if you continually point out how he's incompetent, his unconscious is going to be programmed, especially when it's around you, that he is incompetent. And he's going to feel that he is incompetent in the bedroom and everywhere. How can you respect a man and be attracted and have that fire and that desire and know that when this man is with you in the bedroom, that he's going to break you open? You want a man to break you open psychologically, to open you up in ways you've never been opened up before, safely, where you feel safe, you feel loved, but you feel free to tap into who you are. You don't tell me you don't. Like women, especially women in high-powered careers. This is a fact. Like especially women who have a lot going on, right? Or are managers or directors or own their own company. Especially women who have taken on a lot of masculine qualities. When they're in the bedroom, they want to take that, they want a masculine energy to wreck them, but in a loving, safe way. They want to lose control. They want to tap into that animal aspect in them. Because every woman has that womanly side that the world sees, that elegant woman side, and then she has that animal side that she wants to tap into and still feel like a lady and still feel loved and appreciated. She wants her man to make her feel devout, like, I wouldn't say worship, but like that man wants to devour her. Like that man is so adored by her. Women want to feel adored, loved, wanted, desired. So in order to do that, you can't be nagging him 24/7. If you do, you are programming incompetence in him. And don't think that it doesn't extend to the bedroom. It's part of it. Subconscious doesn't make like separations. In my field, we call that an anchor. You created these suggestions in his mind, and so every time he's with you now, that image that you've built up of him in your subconscious and his is tied to everything else. Incompetent, can't do nothing right. Look at he's forgetful. My God, he's doing this, he's doing that. How can you really be attracted to a man like that? So if you're doing that, you got to stop. You got to cut it out. You got to find a way to make sure that you do the opposite as much as you can. by seeing the greatness in him, seeing the power that he wields. And that will help you find that fire for him again. See that, have those eyes sparkle when you see him, when you hear him talk, when you hear him move, all the things that attracted you to him, you'll see that arise again. Okay? Because you, as a woman, women don't realize the power they have. The feminine principle is extremely powerful and is a creative power. So you can create power in your relationship, or you can create destruction. This is symbolized by all these stories you hear in mythology or in religions. For example, the story of Samson and Delilah in the Bible. You have the strongest man in the world, and he was defeated by a woman, meaning no other man could defeat him, but a woman defeated him. Why would they tell this story? Because they're telling you this is the power that women wield, the feminine energy, that you can empower a man or destroy him. So if you choose to empower your man, he'll only empower you, right? As long as it's a right man, the good man, man that's worthy of you. So this is my video. Comment, like, and there will be more. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.